Welcome to Ecclesia Principles, a biblical strategy for believers to engage in God's design for government with Ray Eppard.
Hello, glad you could join us again today. We are currently looking at the topic of, is Christian nationalism a good thing? And we could even call it that, what has Christian nationalism given us? And I'm basing this off of an MSNBC panelist who said Christian nationalists believe that our rights are given to us by God and not the government. So when I heard that, I thought, well, I must be a Christian nationalist. And so I'm more or less embracing that. I would rather be a Christian nationalist than an atheistic globalist. So with that, we're looking at things that the belief and application of Scripture to government gave us, because that's ultimately what a lot of those that try to use Christian nationalism as the new boogeyman, they're Christian nationalists. They're trying to scare people with it. But the bottom line, the application of Scripture to government has given us the things that we cherish. We talked about last week about it gave us representative government. It gave us the Bill of Rights. It gave us freedom of speech. It gave us the right to bear arms. Also, if you would, and what we're going to talk about today, is it gave us the true separation between church and state. Now, true separation, not the conglomerated mess that a lot of people call it today. But if you define separation of church and state by the First Amendment, that is something that was given to us by people that were applying scriptural principles to government. It gave us that separation of church and state. Now, the basis of our scripture for this is Genesis 1:26, which really establishes so many things when we begin to apply it, because in it says, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." You see, in this, God, in giving dominion, established what we would call self-government. It's the first jurisdiction. And what that also establishes is that every individual is accountable to God. That's why the separation of church and state is so important. It's not a thing of keeping religion out of government. It's more keeping government out of religion from that standpoint. If you would, that it's supposed to work more the other way. You see, up until really the American Revolution and our Declaration of Independence, the religion and the government was tied so closely together that people would lose their lives sometimes when government would change because they were of the wrong religion. True separation of church and state, as the First Amendment talks about, it says it this way. Now, I'll read to you that First Amendment. "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." So you see, in this, religion is something that government is not supposed to dictate, but at the same time, it is not to impede it. What we're dealing with much in our country today is the impeding and the removal of religion. That's not separation of church and state. That's the state dictating what you are allowed to believe and what you're allowed to communicate in the public square. And again, that is an elimination of a freedom. Christian nationalism gave us freedom of religion. God bless you.
You've been listening to Ecclesia Principles with Ray Eppard. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook on our Ray Eppard pages. This program was brought to you by Victory Worship Center and World Outreach. Services Sunday 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, 200 Hammond Lane, Stanton, Virginia.